Hello and welcome back. I've recently been trying to paint up the ammunition to obviously go inside of the tanks and the racks. It's not gone well. I don't like them at all. They're rubbish to build, rubbish to paint, and a complete farce in my opinion. I've got an idea for using some aftermarket for these. Luckily enough, we don't need them straight away. There's a bit of photo etch that needs to go in, but we can come back to that at a later section. So I've decided to move on, and moving on to the upper hull section. First of all, we've got the hull section here. We need to drill some holes. There is a correction that came with the kit for some holes that go in the back here. They need to be 1.6 millimeters, and there's two holes here that need to be 0.8. I've got the drill with a 1.6 in, and I've got a drill piece there of a 0.8 ready to go. So first of all, let's get drilling the holes in the back here, which are 1.6 millimeters. We have these little indentations. If we can just zoom in, we got the little indentation that you can just about see there, and we're just going to go through nice and gently. And there we go. Two 1.6 millimeter holes, one there and one there. I'm just going to tidy these up, and then I'm going to do the 0.8 millimeter holes here and here. So I'll be right back. Due to the vast amount of swearing that is involved, I've done a bit of the photo etch off camera. We can see a bit here on the spade, and there should be some on the pipe work on the back of the vehicle here, which I haven't done yet. And then also there's some on the axe over here which I've done and glued down with the CA glue. It's pretty fiddly work, and it didn't come out great on camera. Moving on to some of the top hull section stuff now. We've got a small correction going on here for this piece E33. It is wrongly put down as A13. So I've got that sorted and ready to go here. Some of you may know I hate little plastic grab handles like these. They normally break and they're rubbish. So what I've done is I'm going to sling them out of the way, and I've made some out of some metal stock. So I'm going to put these in. What I've done is where the grab handles actually go, I've drilled a small hole in the grab handle location. I'm going to poke them through, glue them with some super glue or CA glue in there, and then once they've dried I'm going to cut the back off them to make them flush. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get these grab handles in looking good, and then we'll be ready to put it all together once the CA glue's dry. So there we go, one grab handle and the second grab handle. And we just need to get these bits together now. So it's that way around. We'll put the circular dome on first, get rid of that thing there. Using these super thin, the new stuff. It really does stink, by the way. You really can get high off this stuff. Just one down. This section here. So, I just need the gluing down there, can't I? 1, 2, press it down. That's that one. And the second one. There we go, and there's that one stuck down as well. So that's that piece done. We just need to get this in place now and glue it down. Again, we got all the sub-assemblies built up and now we need to get them together. Again, we come to another bit where it seems a bit weird. There isn't that much glue surface area for these pieces to sit on. Down the side of the vehicle it's not too bad, but there and there, there's not much for it to sit on. The actual top hull section itself is quite warped out of the box. I did try straighten it out under some weights for a couple of days, but that didn't do the trick at all. So hopefully we're going to clamp it up and hopefully it will hold its shape once it's all glued together. Again, this is another piece where there's not much glue surface area for us to work with. It does sit in quite snugly, and hopefully with the quick dry glue it's going to hold tight. The whole section is a bit warped and hopefully this doesn't break over time, but it should be alright. As you can see, I'm using plenty of glue and I got a clamp on it. Hopefully we'll melt it into submission. I guess this part of the kit is supposed to be the realistic armour thickness. It is pretty thick plastic and it's going to need some clamping down to make it hold steady. But again, plenty of glue using the clamps and it should go down fine. We've got some more of the realistic armour thickness to install on the inside of the hull section this time. Again, it's pretty thick plastic, but I'm going to use plenty of glue and some clamps to hold it down tight. I've done a bit more off camera. As we can see, there's the front manlet for the machine gun now, and also some of the ammunition racks on the inside which sit on this little hoop. We're moving on quite briskly now with this upper hull section. The next thing to go on are these wing fenders, or whatever we want to call them. Anyway, they just glue on, but they are a bit bendy plastic wise and they don't want to sit down too nicely. So again, I'm going to use plenty of glue and use some clamps to hold it until it's dried. We're getting to the end of this part of the build, not much more to do, bear with me. We've just got these front, well, I guess they're like mud flaps that go on the front, and we've got some to do on the rear as well, but we'll get round to that in a minute. I'm not too sure about the fit issue here, there looks to be too much sunlight coming through the gap. Having looked forward into the manual, there are some brass straps that sort of link the two pieces together. Well, that's going to be fun with more photo etch. I've spared you the pain of watching me glue on some of these small items. I've got the rear hull section here and I've added some of the auxiliaries onto it. Now we're just getting on to putting the exhausts. Thanks for joining me in this episode. I look forward to seeing you next time.